All right, so let me ask you first of all. I know that you ran for the Republican nomination 2 years ago.
I
Will you
did.
be seeking the Republican nomination again this time around?
I am. I will be seeking the Republican nomination once again. And Assemblyman Crouch has announced that in 2018, he announced that he would not be seeking another term. So it looks like this will be an open seat.
Okay, all right. You did end up on the general election ballot as the Conservative Party candidate. Are you seeking
That's
that
correct.
nomination as well?
I am in talks with them right now. I was the conservative candidate for the 122nd Assembly District in 2018, and I believe I'll have the same support this time around.
It's, so I guess in a way, I mean, one would tend to ask, well, what will be different this time around? But
Sure,
obviously, if
sure.
Mr. Crouch is not in the race, that's a huge part
Which would
of
be
it.
one thing. Plus, I'm also getting an overwhelming amount of support from people who are in my neighborhood, people who are former elected officials, even current elected officials. People know that Assemblyman Crouch had been there since 1995, and I think they understand it's time for new leadership. And with what's going on in Albany right now, between bail reform and the one-party rule in Albany, I think we need new leadership, somebody who's going to fight very hard.
So, given that the Democrats now control all three, the Senate, the Assembly, the governorship, what sort of difference can a Republican make in Albany?
That's a good question. I think the first thing you can do is you've got to be a liaison between your constituents and what's going on in Albany. Because if it is one-party rule, then obviously my constituents are going to want to know what's going on, what rules and laws are being implemented in Albany, and I want to make sure that they have a front row seat to that.
So let's just talk about a few of the issues that you feel are most significant facing the state right now.
So I feel that right now our state has lost over 1.4 million people since 2010. And out-of-state migration, I feel, is a serious issue. The reason why this is happening is because of lack of jobs. There's no opportunity. There's too much red tape and regulations for businesses. I feel that we need to go to Albany and change this. I feel that I can do that, and you could even work across the aisle to do that.
Okay. Obviously, you have a very well-known last name.
Sure.
How
Well,
do you usually deal with that in your campaigning? Are you embracing your father's legacy? Are you more looking to be your own man? Is it a combination of the two?
Sure, thank you for asking. So my father's career was his career. He did what he did, and unfortunately he's no longer with us. I am very proud of the work my father did. I think he was very prolific in creating jobs in our area, bringing back funding and programs. But this is about Nick. And I want the voters to know that Nick is ready to fight for this community, and that's exactly what I'm ready to do. I have it in my heart, and I'm going to work hard to do it.
Okay. Assemblyman Crouch hasn't faced a Democratic opponent in, like, forever almost. I mean, there was a number of years ago. He's occasionally had them.
I want to say over 12 years it's been, I believe.
Once or
And that was it, I think back in '08.
Kelly Keck ran against him once.
Okay.
And then we're talking at least 10 years ago.
Yeah, you're refreshing my memory, I'm sorry.
However, I have heard that some Democrats were reluctant to run against Cliff, whether because of his long-established incumbency or perhaps they liked him.
Sure.
My sense, though, is that if indeed Cliff's not running again and it's an open seat, that they may work much harder to put forward a candidate.
The way I feel is if you have a calling to serve, regardless what party you're from or affiliated with, if you want to serve the community and you want to go out and work to get those petitions and get on the ballot, I would encourage it. This seat has been filled, as we said, by one gentleman since 1995. The people deserve a choice. This is not just about one candidate. I'm going to go out there and prove why I am the best candidate for this seat. But I do believe in choice, and the voters deserve that.
All right, are there any other issues you'd like to discuss? I notice on your release that you speak about your activism around Lyme disease.
Yes, sir. Lyme disease is growing rapidly in the Northeast. New York State continually cancels funding for Lyme disease in our budget. They canceled $1 million 2 years ago, and they have only funded it up to $400,000 to this point in the past 6 or 7 years. So it is poorly funded, and for all the amount of people that have Lyme disease, they need help. And I believe that the state does need to step in and at least look into how we can make this disease go away, or at least help the people that have it.
Do you care to share with us your personal battle with Lyme
Sure.
disease?
It was so in 2017, I was in Florida on vacation, and I found out I wasn't able to get out of bed. And when I was doing things like bending over and things like that, my legs would lock up, and I was not able to move well. So I went to a doctor. Long story short, the doctor said I had multiple sclerosis. He had given me 6 MRIs. He had given me a spinal tap, all to say that I had MS, even though the spinal tap had come up negative for MS. So I knew something was fishy. And as we know with Lyme, doctors aren't always on top of it. It's a very, very tricky issue. So what happened was I went to New York, and I was properly diagnosed, given a year of antibiotics, and I felt, I would say, 85% better. So Lyme disease is something that is scary because I had it for 8 years and didn't even know it. I was bit in 2009 at a cell tower site where I was working. I was building a concrete pad. We were building a fence around the tower. And next thing you know, on our way home, a few of us had ticks on us. And it just takes one day with Lyme.
I guess the other question I would ask, you've probably alluded to this already, but why do you want to be an elected official? Why do you want to hold elected office?
I'm really passionate about this. I do believe that I can make change. I've worked on this before. I am working with the community, as we said, with Lyme disease and such. And I really do think I can go to Albany and make change. I understand how it works up there. I've seen it, and I want to go up there and fight. I really believe that we need to fight the downstate politicians that are infringing on our way of life here in upstate.